Focus. Here's 5 key points about focus. 1. You're so powerful when you focus. I want to kind of share a story here. When I was learning Japanese in high school, it took me about 4 years. Well, of course, it takes about 4 years for everybody to learn the language, and I learned how to talk really well. I decided to make it a point to learn Japanese and to talk, so I would talk really well. But the problem was that I couldn't read very well, nor could I write very well. So there was something that I needed to do. I needed to study kanji. I hated kanji. It was something that I didn't want to do. There was, 2,000 general kanji, and it just seemed like such a nuisance to try to learn everything. It wasn't until maybe 3 years in my college years when I was in Berkeley that I actually picked up a book, and I decided not to read it, and go through it all the way until 2 years after I bought it. But there came a point where I decided, it was around maybe 2010 or so, 2011 probably, where I decided that I was going to learn all the kanji. And keep in mind, I had started Japanese in the year 2000. It was now the year 2000, 2010, 2011, so that it's been 11 years. I never focused on kanji. 11 years. So 11 times 12 is 121, so it had been 121 months of knowing Japanese, and I was still scared of the kanji. 121 months. And guess what? In just 1 month, okay, out of 121 months, okay, I was at my level of Japanese with kanji. And in just 1 month, so this is the 122nd month, I knew all the kanji. And not only did I know all the kanji, but I had learned all of their origins. And I was familiar with them. So after 121 months, if only I had known, it would have only taken me 1 month to actually learn all the kanji. I thought back about all the times that I was in Japanese class when I hated, reading, or when I had to kind of guess around tests and everything. I mean, I knew the kanji for the test back at the time, but that's because I only kind of speed studied it, and I never really internalized it. So it only took 1 month. Wow. Something that took me 11 years to get. I finished it. I was able to do it in 1 month. And that is the power of focus. I focused everything into kanji that month. I was reading kanji night and day. I spent all the free time that I had reading kanji, reading that book. It was supposed to be a reference book, but I read through everything because I wanted to. That's how powerful it is. Sometimes it takes that long for you to realize it, but just know that if you start now and you focus, you can shave off so much time in things that you want to do and goals that you want to accomplish. Now, after that time, though, I have another story. 2 years went by. I knew the kanji. I knew their English counterparts. But I had procrastinated so much on learning their Chinese sounds. And this is probably one of the most important things in Japanese is the Chinese sounds with the kanji. Because if you know the Chinese sounds, if you see 2 or 3 kanji put together, you can basically you can read everything just from knowing the Chinese sounds. It took me 2 years, and guess what? It only took me maybe 2 or 3 days when I had focused to learn all of the pronunciations. 2 or 3 days only. I was in the gym, in the exercise bike, and I studied through flashcards. It took me 2 to 3 days. Only. I had, spent over maybe 700 days not knowing it. And it just took 3 days. I already knew the kanji. I knew their English. I could read it. If you gave me something in Chinese, I could have a good idea of what it was talking about, what the text was about. But it only took me 3 days. That's the power of focus. Number 1, You are so powerful when you focus. Number two. Number two key fact about focus. People are attracted to people with focus. You know, it's funny to say it, but back when I was having trouble with my relationship a long time ago, I didn't really have much focus in my life. But the moment I started to have focus, and I decided that I wanted to become more successful, and I wanted to do things, to better myself, things started changing. And, my relationship got better, and everything was fixed. People are attracted to focus, people with focus. Nobody likes someone who doesn't have something that kind of like a reason, a stronger purpose of living. As human beings, I think it's something that we all either wish for, or it's something that we have that we wouldn't know what to do without. And also, if you think about this, leaders can only lead when they have focus. So nobody can follow someone who doesn't have any focus. But the moment you have a focus, you have a cause, people will tend to gravitate to that, especially if they need to have, a focus of their own. Third key point about focus. Focus makes life exciting. Think about a video game for a moment. I don't know if anybody here has played a video game or an RPG, but why is the reason, why is it that, you can spend 60, maybe 70, 80, maybe 100 hours on a game and it's exciting? Well, the game has a focus. It has a mission. There's something that you have to do. There's something that, the characters have to, complete. It's their destiny. Well, think about this. After you beat the game and the story is over, how much longer do you play that game? Once the story is over, once everything is done, once the last boss is defeated, once the story mode is over, what's the point? There is no point. It just becomes a pointless game. I mean, you can walk around with all your strongest weapons and your strongest skills. You can kill bad guys, random activated battles. Maybe you can make your character as strong as possible. Okay, then you get as strong as possible. Then what? What's your mission? After you beat a game, sometimes the best way that you can continue on is to make your own missions. Then you have a reason to continue, but the moment you don't, then playing it becomes kind of pointless. It's the same thing with your life. I know this sounds weird, but your life is like that video game in many ways. You can continue working, you can continue doing whatever you want to do, keep doing your same tasks or whatnot, but without that focus, everything becomes so plain. Everything becomes a chore. Living becomes a chore. So it's very important that you have focus. It makes life exciting. And getting closer to your destination always keeps you in a state of expectation. You're always looking forward to something. There's something that you can't wait to see. That's what makes life exciting. Fourth key point about focus. You get what you focus on. For the longest time, I was overweight. I really was. I mean, sometimes it wasn't even that dramatic. I would say maybe sometimes 15 to 30 pounds, I guess you could say. Except for a few years ago, I think maybe 3 years ago, I was maybe about 40 pounds, overweight. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, I need to lose weight. I think I was maybe 27 or so, when I started losing weight. By the time I was, so it took me 27 years, right? Here's going back to key point 1, you're so powerful when you focus. I was so crazy focused on losing weight that, I lost 50 pounds. And it took me about a year and maybe 4 months, and I kind of slipped during October and November, and if that didn't happen, I would have done it within one whole year. But it took me about a year and maybe 5 months until no, actually a year and 4 months. It was April. I know that because my friend found me up. So I wasn't at my peak, but it was in April the next year. So I started January as my New Year's resolution. By April, you know, I had lost 50 pounds and I was at the best shape I had ever been in my entire life, even when I was in high school. And it took me so long. I remember I wanted this when I was 15, 14, 13. Now I was 27, and it only took me 1 year. And I decided to myself, New Year's, that I wanted to go to the gym, and every month I would increase the time that I went to the gym by 10 minutes. 10 minutes only. So January 1st, I would only go to the gym 10 minutes every day. So in the morning, I would go every day. February, I would go 10 minutes in the day, 10 minutes at night. Now you can see where this is going. And then March, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. And it just kept going up and up and up and up to the point where it's December and I'm going, 1 hour, in the morning and 1 hour at night every day. And there were times when I missed, something, and I would feel like it was the weirdest thing ever. I would actually feel really bad about it. Because it was like, oh my God, I can't believe I did it. Because I was so used to it that not going to the gym felt weird, So, and that's how I was able to, to reach my best, And I still had 5 pounds more to go before I think I was at my ultimate. I would say if I had lost 5 more pounds, it's like the best you could ever be. I was already at Floyd Mayweather's weight. I was at 150. I wanted to be a little bit more slim. I wanted to be 145, but I think, for all intents and purposes, that when you're the same weight as, number one, boxer in the world, then that's pretty damn good, So, and it works the same way, so you have to be careful. If you focus on the negative, then, it will also come and be attracted to your life. Law of attraction, something that I talked about 8 years ago in my first YouTube video that you can check out. Okay, so last key point number 5 about focus. Focus, it enriches your life. And I know I said it earlier, when I was focusing on key point number 3, which means focus makes life exciting. But there's a difference between exciting and enriches your life. Well, first thing, the reason why it enriches your life is that you're not wasting time. When you don't focus, you can waste 121 months, or I guess you could say 11 years. If you, procrastinate, it might take you a few years to lose that weight. By the time you know it, you're almost 30, and you haven't, reached your ultimate weight yet. Or something that would take 3 days takes you 2 years, So you're not wasting your time. And when you're not wasting your time, you're enriching your life. Second thing about focus is that focus allows you to put your priorities out and for you to actually work on them, to spend time on them, to contribute to them, to become better. And it's really, really important. Having focus is so important. So, there you have it. 5 key points of focus. I think this is my best video out so far. I only have a few, but I think it is so far. And basically what I did in this video is basically outline something to focus on. So, anyways, I'll see you all later. Have a great day.